Sorry, Matthew. I tricked you. Let me start from the beginning. Back on Earth, I worked a 9-to-5 office job. I was sad and lonely, and wished to be anywhere but on Earth. One night, when I went to sleep, my wish came true. I arrived in the garden, a chaotic but whimsical land that served as a much-needed refreshment to my dull office job. There was a beautiful city in the middle of a desert, centering around a large pillar of salt, in which I lived amongst many other lost souls. The garden was formed from nothing, a type of energy named celestial energy, which can be solidified and turned into solid form. It makes up the entirety of the garden. This celestial energy is produced when people yearn to be anywhere but their current location. The sun and the moon are pure beings of wild celestial energy. In order for this celestial energy to exist, there has to be something that is negative of all the celestial energy in the world. Reverse celestial energy. For every unit of celestial energy that the world and the sun and moon were formed from, there was another unit of reverse celestial energy in this dream world. And all of this reverse celestial energy was condensed into one place, the Delta. The Delta is a precise weapon with sole power to slay the sun and the moon. Through precise aim, one could manage to destroy bits and pieces of the sun and the moon. For example, it's possible to aim the Delta at the moon and only remove the seal inside of her. In the early days, the sun and the moon were constantly at war. The sun had immense power. He could push away the moon almost any time he wanted. But what the moon lacked in power, she made up for in her craftiness. She had the power to shapeshift into whatever creature she wanted. Both of them yearned to be the ruler of the skies, so they always fought for control. However, much like my life on Earth, eventually the garden too became boring to me. I yearned to go back. In the garden, whenever the sun was out, I was suffocated by the heat. When the moon was out, I felt scared and cold. I could do nothing to change the climate around me. Everything changed one day when the sun beat the moon in battle. She, in her vulnerable state, was easily malleable. Thus, the sun was able to seal away the ability to control her powers. He had hoped that this would make the moon easier to finish off once and for all, but it only made her stronger, wilder. At this time, another boy wandered into the garden. The instant he did, the moon took all of the sun's powers and sealed them inside of him. In this act, the moon also created a seal to tie the boy down to a cottage in the middle of a field of grassy hills in order to prevent him from finding the Delta, as well as create a seal on his ability to experience permanent damage so that this vessel would remain unharmed and would never release the sun. This marked the beginning. The moon, so paranoid that the boy might try to break the seal, which held the sun within him, buried the entire city beneath sand, along with nearly every citizen inside of it. This was a tragic incident. I survived this incident only because I was out of the city at the time. I went to talk with the sun sealed inside the boy's heart while he was asleep. I told the sun I wanted to leave the garden, that I was scared of the moon's chaotic rule. He used the little celestial energy that he could to form a second weapon with similar properties to the Delta, albeit much weaker. It only had the power to break small and weak seals. It took the form of a paintbrush. With this, I was able to remove the seals on the boy which prevented him from leaving the house, and that which prevented him from retaining damage. Then, the sun told me that, although there was no way to leave the garden, he would ensure that things would be better under his rule. So, I set out to help Matthew find the Delta and use it on himself so that the sun could rise again. Matthew, if I'm honest, I don't really know what I want. I want to leave, but that's not feasible. I don't don't know if bringing back the sun was the right idea.
I despise the moon for destroying the city of Sodom, though I understand that her actions are not under her control.
Matthew, pull yourself together. You are more powerful than you think. I'm sure you can find a way to bring about the death of the garden.